The one piece of insight I would give is that it's really important to start with the lease. I think a lot of building owners are really hesitant to tackle their leasing, but really the lease is fundamental to how sustainability programs work in their buildings because it is the tenant that is the tenant's usage of energy and water and their recycling performance that really determines in many ways the sustainability performance of a building. The nice thing is in California we now have AB 1103, which requires, as you know, building owners to disclose building energy usage in the event of sale, lease, or financing. And that's a really good entree for legal teams that are maybe a little bit hesitant about putting any sustainability language in a lease by going to them and saying, hey, look, we have to comply with this law anyway, so we better protect ourselves, otherwise we could be subject to fines. So let's ask our tenants to disclose their utility information to us, and that way we're protected. And then, legal typically says, oh, well, if there's a law, then I guess we will put it in. And then that's a really good way of then starting the conversation about, here are some other things we could think about putting in. What if we want to go for LEED certification? We want the tenant to participate. Well, we don't want the tenant to use too much energy in the building unnecessarily. So maybe we should tell them to only put in Energy Star equipment. Maybe we should require the tenant to recycle. What about sub-metering? Theoretically, tenants would use less energy if they knew exactly how much they're using. So it's a really good way of starting that conversation. But it's really important because if there's no mechanism for the landlord to really focus on energy efficiency, the capital dollars will never show up. And another really important thing, one of the prerequisites actually of the Green Lease Leaders program, Evan Kilroy was really excited to be part of the inaugural class, was the capital recovery. So as you know, no matter what happens in a building, the tenant is paying the energy and the water and the utility bill. Either they're paying it up front or they're billed back for it later. Well, then the landlord never benefits, but yet the tenant is really not in a place to be able to do an energy or a water efficiency retrofit. That's not what they do for a living. They don't run buildings. The landlord runs buildings. So that's the classic split incentive. And so when you really change the capital recovery language, that really enables things to really happen. So for Kilroy, it's not perfect, right? I mean, we were able to recover those investments over the payback period as opposed to the lifetime of the equipment, but it really makes those investments possible. So starting with the leasing, it's hard because legal isn't really used to dealing with sustainability, but really it's pretty fundamental to getting a whole lot of scale done in your buildings. And it's a great way to start the conversation with your tenant about other sustainability things that they could be trying out in the building. So it's a good conversation starter, it's a good way to engage legal, and it's a good foundation to create for sustainability managers.